education is something that we take very seriously here in Eagle County, and I know that because I myself am a product of the Eagle County school system, and absolutely one of my favorite school systems that I got to attend. And how lucky are we that we've got an upcoming running for the Eagle County School Board here with us, Heather Bergquist. First thing this morning, Heather, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, exciting that you're running for the school board, kind of a big deal, and something that's so cool, especially as you come from this education background, and you are a mom yourself, so you kind of see the ins and outs in all of the ways.
I am, very much. I have 4 of my own children and care very deeply for them and have much vested interest in how they do academically, but also with my background teaching in inner city Indianapolis, rural Nigeria, and a private school in the Valley. I have a wide variety of interest and insight into the education system.
Which is really important, and especially like I went to Minturn Middle when it was still Minturn Middle School, and as an expeditionary learning school, it was probably the coolest and most hands-on and involved school I had ever gone to.
That's great. And teachers do such a wonderful job making learning engaging for kids and setting them up for success in life. That's why this is so important.
Yes, and so this is kind of your driving factor for why you're running for the Eagle County School Board. And what is it that has kind of got you into this motion?
Well, I believe that all decisions made by the school district should be made in the best interest of children, and so there are some very specific things underneath that. One of those is a very spotlighted focus on reading, writing, and math. Our children's best future depends on an excellent education, and so I would like to focus the decisions that the school board makes on making sure that children are doing the very best they can to be literate, to compute accurately, to think critically, but also a successful student education depends on a meaningful partnership with parents, making sure that the parents are engaged, they know what's happening in the classroom, and that they are working hand in hand with the teachers who do such an excellent job making learning a great experience for the kids.
Yeah, which I think this is so important. I also have 10-year-old little brothers. So I've got babies in my family that are currently in school right now. And it's really interesting because they go to school in Utah to see how it kind of pans out differently from place to place. And I mean, their focus, one of their big focuses right now is making sure that they're doing a lot of reading. But I feel like the math curriculum has changed so drastically from when I was in school to when they're in school. I can't even help them with their math anymore.
That's really sad to hear because I bet you're actually pretty good at math.
Yeah, well, it's okay, but I mean, it's crazy.
I would love to just piggyback on what you said, and reading well is such a key to future academic success. And if you imagine the books that you read, the relationships that you develop with the characters in the book, the vocabulary, the sentence structure, the conflict resolution, all of those things are so valuable in being able to engage in the world around you and being able to be a lifelong learner once you're an adult.
Yes.
To be able to take on any type of reading material, to learn, to teach yourself anything that you're interested in. That's really the goal, is that we would create curious lifelong learners who then know where to find their resources and they can engage it confidently and learn anything they need throughout the rest of their life.
Which I think it's so important, and it's really cool that you are now a driving factor into this as you are running for the Eagle County School Board. And so with you running for it, what is some of the things that obviously the reading and the writing and the math that you're really, really pushing for, but how do you plan on doing this parent-teacher relationship?
That's a great question. I think that it's something new that we're sort of dipping our toe in a little bit to see what parents really would like to be, how they would like to be engaged in the process, but giving them information about what is happening in the classroom is very important so that they can provide accountability for their student to give them the best chance for succeeding, but also kind of distinguishing what the role of a parent is in the life of a child versus an educator. And so the educator has a very specific job, which is to teach reading, writing, and math. And I think sometimes it gets a little convoluted where parents have given over a lot more than just the reading, the writing, and the math. And so I would like to encourage parents and caregivers to take back the things that have to do with values, sports, health, faith. Those are things and decisions that need to be made at home. And I think that that will be such a good gift to the teachers to free them up to really focus on making sure that the students in our district are at grade level literacy and are computing accurately, are thinking critically, and are engaging really great materials in their classroom.
Yeah, which I mean, that is so important. And it is important that there is that distinguish between parenting and being a teacher, which I couldn't agree more with you about that. And I think also, though, it is important for the teachers. I know my little brothers, they're learning manners in the 4th grade right now. And I'm like, thank goodness. These little monsters need these manners.
Absolutely, and that's something that really should come from the home, but when a teacher or a school system can support those things, it only benefits the student.
Yeah.
But of course, those more sensitive issues do belong in the home.
Yeah.
So freeing the teachers up to not have to go there with the students is actually a great gift for them.
Yeah, I mean, when you're managing 30 little ones running around, I can only imagine how insane it can get in a classroom.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it takes teachers who are masters of all trades, it seems to be, in order to corral them and to educate them all at the same time. They are amazing people.
Yeah.
We love our teachers.
We do love our teachers, and it's cool that we're kind of stepping up and supporting the teachers right now a lot more, especially through this pandemic, because this has been an insane time with going virtual on school, which you homeschool your children, so you kind of understand how it is to have these kids in your house.
Yes.
And doing it. I took over as homeschool teacher for 3 days for my mom, and I was like, I'm gonna start crying. I was like, I'm gonna pull my hair out and start crying. So it's nice that we're finding ways to help the teachers and alleviate them a little bit as we're going through this challenging time too.
Well, I think that the last year has been such an interesting opportunity for learning, because the parents have gotten insight to see what is it that the teachers are doing in the classroom. How is it for them to take 30 of these little squirmy children, depending on their age, and try and keep them focused and progressing in their education. And so I think it's given the parents a lot of insight into maybe areas that their child does well, and areas that their child needs extra support. So I believe going back into the classroom this fall and going forward, the parents have a much better view of what's actually happening in the classroom. They have a little bit more investment into where their child is academically. And also the teachers now have the parents to ask questions to. How was it for you in the last year? What was it like supporting your child at home on their academic journey? So I can see this being a win for all parties involved, and hopefully in the end that the student ends up being the winner.
Oh my gosh. Well, and that's all we can hope for, you know?
Absolutely.
Driving our kids for a brighter future, really.
Absolutely. And you know, whether you have children in the system or not, as a taxpayer, you have a vested interest in what the outcome of our school district is. And we are striving for excellence, and I think we can aim for that. You know, throughout history, people have gone through school systems and done amazing things for our country, for the world, for great literature. And so I would like to think that out of Eagle County Schools, we could be producing excellent students, functioning far above grade level literacy, computing accurately, and thinking critically.
Which I think is so important. Heather, thank you so much for coming on and giving us all this information. If people want to kind of follow along as this is happening, the election for the board, where can they go?
That's a great question, and I would encourage everyone to be a part of this. What happens locally in our schools is so significant. There is a lot of information online that you can follow up with. September 1 is when all of the candidates will be on the ballot. There are 5 districts open, and so you get 5 votes, not just one. But if you would like to follow my campaign directly, my website is heatherforthechildren.com, and it's almost finished. It'll be ready soon.
Okay, perfect. Thank you again so much for coming in and giving us all of this great information. If you are a parent or even just a taxpayer here in Eagle County, make sure that you follow along with the Eagle County School Board voting, and make sure that you meet all of the candidates, because we've got such a great community here and such a great support system for not only our teachers but for our children, and people like Heather who are driving to make our children critical thinkers and curious learners later throughout their entire lives. And speaking of curious learners, we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we've got Vail Symposium kind of igniting that curious learning coming up.